in perspective, because a little over a year ago, when this administration came into office, we were losing jobs at the rate of over 700,000 per month, every month, 700,000 jobs a month. And we reacted to it by passing the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. And when it passed, we have slowly made some progress, losing fewer and fewer jobs every month. But that's obviously not sufficient. We have to do better than that. But we have to put this in perspective. We were losing all of those jobs, and we found ourselves not only in the ditch with the economy, but also a ditch in the federal budget. We had a huge deficit, which limited our ability to respond to this challenge. We're also shooting at a moving target. As we just this week, the Virginia legislature, my home state of Virginia, will pass a budget that will cut approximately $4 billion out of the budget. Now, Virginia is about 2% of the population, $4 billion. California is cutting about $20 billion out of their budget, a little over 10% of the population. If you extrapolate that nationally, that's about $200 billion that the states will be cutting out of their budget this year, on top of about $300 to $350 billion they cut last year. So that's $500 billion that would have been cut out of budgets in the last 2 years. So the first $500 billion of job creation we do will do nothing but just hire the people that have been laid off on the state level. So as much as we're doing on the federal level, it's obvious that we are, again, shooting at a moving target. States are laying off people as fast as they can, and our job is to make sure that we try to create jobs. Now, part of the federal investment will help states retain some of their critical employees, particularly the public safety, first responders, and teachers. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act made significant investments in funding states and helping with their health care and other critical needs, so that they would not have to lay off as many as they're doing. But obviously, some of the major investments I think that are doing the most good are those that were made in infrastructure and transportation. We still have a 10% unemployment rate, so obviously a lot has to be done. And it's those investments in infrastructure and transportation that can be the most effective in creating jobs. When responding to a recession, we use the shorthand of 3 T's. We want the response to be timely, targeted, and temporary. Timely, because sooner or later the recession is going to be over even if we don't do anything. So we want to make sure we take timely action. Targeted, you want to put the money where it's most needed, people that are out of work and people that will actually spend the money to help stimulate the economy. So it has to be targeted. And it's temporary. When we recover from the recession, we don't want to be stuck with ongoing programs and expenses that we'll have to continue to fund. And transportation and infrastructure projects fulfill the 3 T's for a successful stimulus plan. They are timely, targeted, and temporary. They're timely. We're aiming at programs that are shovel-ready, ready to go, no environmental needed, nothing else needed, no architectural anything, ready to go. We are targeted at agencies that are most in need. The construction industry in many states has unemployment rates of 25% or more. And it's temporary. When you fund a project, when the project is completed, you stop spending the money. When you finish building the school, you don't have to spend any more money. It's not like you'd set up a program where you have to continue paying salaries for on and on. The Recovery Act, for example, put money into transit systems. Throughout the nation, transit systems are cutting back in employment. St. Louis, for example, eliminated 25% of its workforce and cut services by 17%. Chicago laid off 1,000 workers. And so investments in the transit systems are areas where we can make timely and targeted investments. Across the nation, these are necessary projects. Across the nation, 78 metropolitan areas have identified over $240 billion in needed transit investments that need to be done. While these jobs So there's these jobs not only put people back to work, they complete needed projects. Now, these investments are also very effective in creating jobs. For every $1 billion the federal government puts in infrastructure, the economic activity is about $6 billion, and about 35,000 jobs are created. Now, we need these projects, and we found that a lot of them are ready to go now. The Public Transportation Association identified projects, $15 billion worth of projects that are ready to go. As soon as we fund them, they're ready to go. The Highway Department, highway associations across the country identified 7,000 ready-to-go highway projects and bridge projects. Almost $50 billion ready to go. As soon as we come up with the money, they can go. And so not only are these projects needed, that they can be timely and they can put people to work. We have found that when we fund a construction project and when it's ready to go, the contractors can hire the employers within a couple of weeks, and they're on the job right then. So we have timely projects that are ready to go. We have put money into it, and 2/3 of the projects that have been funded, the construction has already started. So we have more work to do. We still have a 10% unemployment rate because the states are still laying people off. So we still have to start keep creating jobs. I'm happy to report that today the gentleman from California, Mr. Miller, the chairman of the Education and Labor Committee, has introduced a bill with significant new investments in infrastructure and transportation. These will make sure that we'll have these workers on the job in a very short order. The Miller Jobs Bill will create jobs quickly and efficiently. As states continue to lay people off, we need to make sure that we're creating as many jobs as we possibly can on the federal level. We should give the Miller Jobs Bill quick consideration so that jobs can be created when they are needed, and that's right now. So thank you. I'd like to thank the gentleman from Ohio for bringing us together, for talking about jobs, and encouraging us to continue doing what we need to do to create jobs and end the unemployment problems that we're having today.
Well,
thank you very much.
I thank the senior gentleman from Virginia. And I just want to be clear about your chart. It looks as if that we stabilized the job losses in this country and started to grow them again after the Recovery Act was passed. Is that the...
The Recovery Act was passed right down here, and since then we have been making progress. But losing fewer jobs is not good enough. We need to continue this chart, and in short order we'll be creating hundreds of thousands of jobs, putting people back to work. Those who have lost their jobs need to be rehired. We need to create about 100,000 jobs a month just to keep up with the population growth. And so this chart is just the beginning. By the middle of this year, we hope to be well into the plus, creating jobs, hiring people, and bringing people back from the unemployment line.
Well, these are exciting numbers, and we've got to get people back to work, and I concur with the gentleman from Virginia. Let me just